February 18th, 2019. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Surprise Raw call-ups the night after Elimination Chamber. Surprise call-ups from NXT. Matt Morgan, what did you make of tonight's Monday Night Raw?
I loved it. I loved the new call-ups. I thought it was out of nowhere. And I liked that aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
But there's still a lot to leave desired for other aspects of it.
And we don't know if these are necessarily call-ups. Or if it was just a one-off for tonight, because they weren't making it sound like they're now on Raw.
With Ricochet, they did.
I don't know. He kept saying, "I'll be back."
Right? Yeah. His promo wasn't like next week. I want Lashley, or it was like you'll see me again soon.
This is just the beginning, yeah. But then again, Homeboy did say, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw." What's his name? Finn.
Graves. Oh, yeah, Finn as well.
Finn Balor said it to him a couple times.
And Graves said it on commentary.
Yeah.
To me, Aleister Black was the one that felt least like it was a temporary thing.
That crowd was pissing me off, first of all. They were
sucked.
really pissing me off. With that dude in that ring doing the stuff, and I know, okay, I'm a fan. I'm being a fan of the spot monkey crap. Yeah, great. Sue me. I don't care. All I know is that Homeboy went out there and did new stuff that they've not seen before. I know for a fact they've never seen that before. In a match versus Lashley, where he's doing these backflips off the wall on the outside of the ring and just very innovative things. And I'm watching the crowd's response to it. Some of like the fathers in the audience, watching with the kids. And I'm going, you guys are some lazy SOBs. Get off your ass and cheer.
But to their defense, that match had been pretty long by that point with not a lot happening. It was a lot of headlocks and it was pretty slow.
To me and you, yes. To Glenn, yes. To people that watch it every single week, but not to the average fan that doesn't watch it every week. That should have been, in my opinion, holy bleep. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, and also it wasn't a full crowd by any means. There were a lot of tarped off sections, so
I was watching the audience. I was hitting pause. I was getting so agitated that they weren't cheering for him enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, the crowd sucked for sure. There's no defense of that,
and I don't mean black. I mean the first one. I apologize.
Yeah, I mean I found most of the show pretty dull. I did like
Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose. I did like the revival match, but again, there's no build. I'll get to my theory on why they did this later. But.
It lost out of nowhere to the champs. That does nothing for nobody. We'll get it. Yeah.
Right, and after it's like their first match after winning the titles and they're losing. Yeah.
It was weird. The show opened up with Triple H coming out to the ring, talking about what happened in Elimination Chamber last night, talking about DX, G Generation X is going into the WWE Hall of Fame, including China, among X-Pac, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Damn, that's right. About time.
Yeah, they're kind of running out of singles now. So I wonder if like next year we'll see the NWO, and we've already had the Horsemen, so we'll see. But it really cool. Cool to see China get in one way or another.
Billy Gunn and BG.
Yeah.
And Pac.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. Then after that, Triple H, they did something really different compared to all these vignettes, everything else they've done. Just talked about one of his other duties is running the NXT brand, and he was proud to introduce 4 NXT superstars making their debuts on Raw tonight. There were video packages for each. He introduced each by name: Ricochet, Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa, and said that NXT is the future, and we'll see all of that tonight. And I thought this was a great intro, really hyping it up. And then he said, but right now we're going to have a tables match between Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin.
I didn't mind that. Okay, here's why I didn't mind it. Because one, fans always cheer for tables. You're supposed to start off the show hot. Secondly, it was showed that it was unpredictable and that they're trying new things. That's what we kept bitching about. That, well, what's the difference now that the McMahons are in control? Nothing's changing. We keep bitching about, right? This was different. 4 call-ups in the way they did it, plus starting off the show in a rematch from last night's pay-per-view and at a table match again. I don't know. I thought that was cool.
But it was the worst match of last night. The deadest match of last night.
But Braun is I mean, realistically, Braun is way more over to the TV crowd than any of the NXT guys.
I agree with
mean,
that.
Most of the people at home don't know who these NXT guys are.
But this match didn't have to go a half an hour. Braun.
No, I agree. That match sucked. Again, this whole thing with Braun being humanized, and I mean, and he can't pin Corbin. He has to beat him by putting him through a table. Yeah, I mean, it sucked. What can I say? I mean, I agree with it. I thought this I didn't like the Triple H thing either. I thought just being like, hey, we got some new students you guys are going to see. I'd like to see, it'd be cool if they had something a little more organic or make
like
it more
what?
of a surprise.
Like what? What would be more organic?
What if they're in the front row and Triple H is talking about how, we're bringing in new stars and these guys like hop the railing and be like, you're saying you want new stars, but we're saying the same thing every week. Why not give us a shot? Let us show what we can do tonight. You guys never mention NXT on TV. Let's do something here. It's a little more out of the blue. It's not as formulaic, just something different.
And with if any of them are there to stay, I think they should have added a step. We talked about this a while ago, where make it like they're giving the NXT's guys a chance, and if they win their match, then they get a main roster spot.
Yeah, so it's like there's something at stake.
Yeah, just add some suspense to it.
Well, then what do you do? Because, guys, we keep talking about this needs to be its own brand, right? And if they're going to be their own brand, I don't want to continue to hear them being called up.
Right.
It should be considered up if it's going to be a tertiary brand.
Well,
it needs to be considered somewhere in their level. I don't know.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Matt. Didn't it seem odd that they're out of nowhere, they're all of a sudden doing this? Like all of a sudden mentioning NXT and not only that, but putting the talent over.
Its own brand, maybe. You know what I mean?
That's what it seemed like to me. Like maybe they're now in talks with FS1, and maybe talks are getting farther along. That they feel like they need to increase its exposure. I mean, I tweeted it. That's really what it felt like to me. Like they feel like now they're getting somewhere on a TV deal for it, and feel like they need to start letting their audience know more what NXT is.
Now that you say it, yeah, I can see that. You know what I mean? At the time, I didn't see it, but I do.
Because they hardly ever mention NXT. True. I mean, with the takeover, they'll show a short promo, but it's not like they're highlighting talent. So we'll see. I mean, if they keep doing this.
And they beat their guys.
Right, exactly. Remember that one time they had Charlotte Flair out when she was in NXT as the women's champion, and they had her on the show, and she just lost to Natalya. was sent back.
Was that on TV, or was that NXT?
Raw. No, it was on Raw. Charlotte beat Natalya in NXT, but on Raw, they just had Natalya beat her. So if we see them keep mentioning NXT and really promoting it more, I think that's got to be it.
I love it if so.
Yeah. I think we get 4 more tomorrow night, including Velveteen Dream on SmackDown.
Oh, don't tease me like that.
I mean,
I hope so.
I wouldn't say 4 more. I think that might be overkill on a 2-hour show.
He needs to be on Raw.
Yeah. Yeah, so Strowman Corbin, this just went on and on and on until Strowman I thought this was cool. He did use a running power slam to put Baron through the table.
Yeah, just think about how far Braun has fallen. Like to think, if I told you back in October that we'd have Braun and Baron Corbin in a competitive 20-minute match. I know he's injured and whatever, but that I told you that they'd be doing that in 6 months. You'd feel like they would never waste Braun like that.
I would be irate. I'd be so pissed and go, what happened? He must have shit in somebody's cornflakes somewhere along the line to cause this deep push.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul Heyman came out and had trouble speaking. Was having problems doing his promo. Then they cut to commercial. He came back.
He was choked.
Yeah.
I think that was just they probably told him like we're cutting to a commercial.
Yes, for sure he was selling the choke. You guys don't think so?
He was what?
Selling the choke.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because Braun
Strowman choked.
Oh yeah.
So Heyman needed a minute. They went to commercial. They came back. Heyman cut a different version of the same promo and then cut to a 2-part video package.
Yeah, I thought it was different. Sure. I like highlights of Brock Lesnar kicking people's asses. I do. I like it better than hearing from Paul.
Yeah, I think It's kind of a waste of using Heyman. I'd rather they just show the packages.
Mhm.
I mean, I like these packages. I think they do a lot for him. I think Brock, we've just been seeing the same thing for so long. I'd like to see something different from him. I think it's such a waste. The Universal Championship, the top title in WWE, has been kind of wasted the last few years.
It has.
And I love Brock. I'm a big fan of his. I feel like he brings something exciting and different. He feels like the most legit guy. Well, he also is the most legit guy.
He should be their Undertaker at WrestleMania. He doesn't need a title, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He should be the guy that everybody wants to face if they're not in the championship match. You know, the next thing would be, I want a match versus Taker at Mania is what everyone shoots for, right? If it's not a championship match.
Yes.
That's the way it should be with Brock Lesnar. He doesn't need a title for that. He's an attraction like Andre the Giant and Undertaker.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. Balor came out to the ring, cut a promo about the
real quick. Isn't it so? I find it so. It takes me out of it when someone's in the ring and then someone else's music hits, and that's just the segue. Like they don't really have any interaction. Like because Heyman's in the ring, Finn Balor's music hits, so you think something's going to happen with them
for sure.
But it's just telling. It's like the Oscar "It's time to go" music. Heyman just leaves.
It was awkward.
Balor comes out.
I thought it was weird.
They've been doing that for months now. It just feels so unnatural because you're expecting something more.
Yeah. Well, is that what happened tonight with Strowman and Heyman though too? Because that was kind of like an overlap.
But overlap.
Thank you. And he choked them, and they did something with it.
Yeah, at least they did something. Most of the times, it's just they just walk by. It'd be like in the UFC if the fighter is cutting a promo, and then the next fighter's music hits.
That would be hilarious. Oh my god, yeah.
Right. Like, wow, my promo must have sucked if they're doing that.
Yeah. Joe Rogan, what the hell are they doing here? I'm not done yet.
So yeah, Balor's music hit. He came out to the ring while Heyman was still there, and then Heyman left. And then Balor talked about the history of the Intercontinental Championship, how happy he is to be holding it. Then he got attacked by Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush, who apparently have made up their differences after last night. Some unspecified time off camera.
We joked about this last night, like doing a breakup and they're randomly together the next day. That's what they did here.
Terrible.
Yeah, it would have been easy to just have put it on the web even. On WWE.com. Just do something to explain this.
Because they're even selling it on Twitter, like today, I think.
Yeah.
Where they're like like Lashley's not accepting his calls.
What?
I want him standing outside his dressing room with the boombox up over his arms, like John Cusack can say anything.
Yeah.
Just trying to bring him back. But then when Balor was getting beat up, Ricochet came out to the rescue, and that led to a tag match, Ricochet and Finn Balor versus Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley.
Was so excited for this. Like, crazy excited for this match.
This was fantastic. I mean, this was absolutely fantastic. Probably a match of the night.
Major mark out moments here at the Morgan household for me when that was going on.
Really?
I was stoked. I was so excited because this was a prime time ta-da, like kind of showcase match for him. He's getting all this bleep crap in. I was just getting so fired up at the fans though. I was getting so angry.
Well, I felt like this match was exciting. With when Finn was there, he was pretty much selling like the whole time.
Yes.
And that was like the majority of the match. This match was like 3 segments. It was long.
It was long.
And most of it is just Lashley beating up Finn. When Ricochet was in there, it was awesome. But that was 3 minutes of this entire match.
It was Finn getting his butt handed to him the majority of the match. It was, but come on. I'm sorry, WWE Universe, who goes to shows maybe once every 6 months, maybe once a year. You specifically that make up the bulk of that audience. You the fan. How do you sit on your butt when homeboy runs up the wall and does a backflip? Cheer!
If you've never seen Ricochet before, I think tonight just would have been like a one of those seminal moments in sports entertainment.
Yeah, and I don't mind Ricochet not being in the match much because it leaves you wanting more. It almost makes you want to like tune into NXT and everything. I just felt like outside of that, this match was too long with just Finn and getting pummeled by Lashley. I felt like they could have shortened it. You have Ricochet do his stuff, but you don't have this match go as long.
I'll be honest though, having Rush in that match, I liked
it. It was awesome. Yeah.
That's why I really was marking out for this match. Going, Rush is going to be able to keep up, and there was some cool crossover in there between Rush and Ricochet that I really liked.
Yeah. Their stuff was the highlight of the match.
Right?
Yeah.
Raj can go, bro. He can go. I thought Bobby not screwed up, but took the match down a little bit.
He's the big muscular guy. He doesn't match
the biggest star too. I don't mean
Right.
to like crap on him, but I'm just being honest from what I wanted to
absolutely.
see.
I think it was the wrong match. I felt like you could have done Leo and Ricochet in a one-on-one or a tag with. You know what? As much as I can't stand the Lucha Brothers gimmick, that would have been an awesome match if you had Finn and
yeah, but Ricochet wouldn't have recovered from that, man. I mean,
I
like,
hate Grand
I know.
what is it? Grand Metalik? I cannot stand him.
He would have recovered, but I know the point. Like with how they've been portrayed,
and just book him against No Way Jose while you're
with the guys that are stars on the brand.
What happened to him? Is he still there?
No Way Jose. I think he's on main event.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's
But here's what this proved tonight to what we're talking about with Leo Rush, and Mustafa Ali proved this also. Book the cruiserweights in matches with non-cruiserweights. Give them more to do, because I think their style is a lot. I mean, I'm sorry if you tuned in to the pre-show yesterday and you see Buddy Murphy versus Akira Tozawa and you don't know either of them, it's not going to be nearly as impactful.
That's
I mean,
true.
let Buddy Murphy have a match against Baron Corbin. Like, what would that hurt?
No, you're right. And it goes to show you that spots aren't everything, which we already knew that, right? It doesn't take a brain surgeon. I know that. We all know that. Psychology matters more. But by the same token, also, what's also the thing that all these cruiserweights get crapped on about, that they're too short. Nothing for nothing. Ricochet wasn't that short, in my opinion, in that ring with Bobby. Go back and watch it again. To me, it was
he did.
Shawn Michaels being in the ring with him. Height-wise, not that I noticed.
I agree. I felt like Ricochet didn't look so small in this match, especially considering that Lashley was there. And I think part of that was because of Leo, because how much smaller Leo is.
Sure. But Finn too, I thought he sized up well. Next too.
Well, let me take a moment. We have two sponsors tonight. I want to thank the first sponsor of this episode, which is SeatGeek. Getting tickets online can be far too complicated with hundreds of sites of varying reliability. It's hard to know who to trust, where to shop. That's why SeatGeek is the way to go. SeatGeek pulls millions of tickets into one place, so you can easily find the seat you want for the price you're willing to pay. There is nothing quite like being there in person, and SeatGeek will get you closer to the action for a great value. Currently, I've been using the SeatGeek app. My wife wants to go see Gwen Stefani when we go to Las Vegas in a few weeks, so we're going to be buying the tickets there. And what I love about it is they grade each purchase based on the quality of the tickets, where you're sitting versus the price. They search multiple ticket sites, grade every ticket based on value, which immediately helps you identify the best seats that fit your budget. And every SeatGeek purchase is fully guaranteed, so you can shop for tickets on SeatGeek with confidence. Make SeatGeek your go-to ticket source for everything from sports, concerts, professional wrestling, comedy, and the theater. Man, I hope that audience tonight at Raw got their tickets on SeatGeek because at least they got a good deal to go there and act completely bored. That's all I'm saying. At least I'm saying, get a deal at least if you're not going to be super sports entertained. But SeatGeek, seriously, I've got the app on my phone. Raj has got it. You've heard us talk about it. Raj has used it for Bon Jovi, Lady Gaga, Broncos games, and more. It's fantastic. It's a one-stop source. Got me into Hamilton, got me into Bananarama, got me into Matt and Kim, got me into so many concerts that I've seen since they've been a sponsor. Absolutely love SeatGeek, and I highly, highly recommend it. We've got an awesome deal for our audience. You can get $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Just download the SeatGeek app, enter the promo code INC today. That's promo code INC for $10 off your first SeatGeek purchase. SeatGeek Life is an event. They have the tickets, and seriously, it's going to change the way you buy tickets to live events. Love having them as a sponsor. SeatGeek, promo code INC for $10 off your first purchase.
Yeah, and with everything coming up, AEW, StarCast, WrestleMania weekend, all the events during WrestleMania weekend, if you haven't tried it out, this is the time to try it out. So get it and get that discount.
Good call. Good timing for it. Yeah, to try it out.
Oh, seriously, man. Double or Nothing tickets are so hard to come by. Definitely recommend SeatGeek for that. We saw Natalya backstage talking to Triple H, and then Drew McIntyre walked in and interrupt. Drew was talking about wanting a match with Seth Rollins or Brock Lesnar, but then they were interrupted by Dean Ambrose, who smacked Drew, and that set up their match for later in the night. But before that, Lucha House Party entered the ring, and then we saw a recap of Becky getting suspended, what she did last night at Elimination Chamber. It's very strange, but the Lucha House Party did have a match against Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. Kurt Hawkins did not break his streak tonight. So take that for what it's worth. So Matt, the Lucha House Party hasn't won you over yet?
No, I cannot stand them. And what's the main guy? I'm so bad. I'm getting old here. Callisto by himself, I was a fan of. When he first came up, when he was in NXT, I liked him. I do not like the Lucha House Party at all. Hate them.
I like them all individually. I agree. I do not like that gimmick
Who's cheering for him? What am I missing?
Kids like bright colors.
I guess
there's something with the masks, and I understand that. But Callisto's would get you that demo all by himself. Just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Grand Metalik is great too, by himself. But
he looks like he should be cutting my grass. But he looks like the dude who cuts my grass, but with a mask on. Body is the. I'm not. Listen, I'm not trying to body shame nobody, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Everybody, address your letters to Max Morgan, City of Longwood. Now, I get the appeal of the lucha style. I get the appeal of the masks. I just think they've, when they're out there with their pinatas.
It's like Nacho Libre, honestly.
Yeah.
With Jack Black.
Yes, he doesn't fit in with the rest of them. I'm not saying, well, that's a good thing. There's different body. I like the different body styles and different body types in general wrestling, but not when I'm watching my lucha. I want to see guys that are in shape, look like superheroes, or they look like villains. That's how I like to see it. That's not everybody. I know that. That's me.
Yeah.
It's like,
yep. Lucha House Party 1. The Kurt Hawkins streak continues.
I mean, be honest, guys. When you saw that, and you saw them going up the ramp with their hands raised, and you saw someone like Zack Ryder, shredded as can be,
right
in the middle of the ring selling, are you not scratching your head going, what the
happened? And just to make it clear, you're not saying that about the other guys. You just make Grand Metalik. It's not a nationality thing. Just in the comment section or jumping.
No, tell them to calm down if that's the
right.
You don't have to like everybody. That's the way this business works.
Right. There's a lot of guys that look like they should be mowing my grass that are wrestlers of all different, ethnicities.
I'm saying he's fat. I'm saying he's fat like Dale, the guy who cuts my grass from South Florida. Yes. But with a mask on.
Well, speaking of which, we got a promo following that up with Tucker and Otis, Heavy Machinery.
Oh, my God.
Can't wait for their feud with the Lucha House Party. They were doing their nonsense that they do. And
let me ask you guys this real quick. Why is Callisto thrown into this? What did he do wrong? He was fine by himself, and I kept thinking he was going to be groomed to be their next Rey Mysterio, honestly. What happened? What did
Rey Mysterio came back.
Besides that, yes. Okay, fine, that's fair.
He just never really got over with the crowd. Like
no.
I mean, they tried. Remember, he was U.S. champion for a while.
Yes,
he beat Ryback at WrestleMania on the pre-show.
Of that.
Yeah, but the crowd just never got into him.
Huh. I thought for sure that he would be a big push because of the masks and stuff.
Yeah, but then they still wanted him to cut promos, and his promos sucked. And yeah.
All right.
But part of it's also a live event thing. I mean, in certain parts of the country, certainly in the Southwest and parts of Texas, where there's a larger Latin population, Latin American population, what they do, I mean, I remember going to Fresno, California for a house show and seeing a lengthy match between the Lucha Dragons and Los Luchadores back when Primo and Epico were doing that gimmick still.
Oh, yeah.
They had like a huge spotlight match because the Mexican-American audience, I mean, they love that. That's a draw for them. And I absolutely get it, So it's thing like with Ray. I mean, what was Ray getting? Raj, what was it, like 20 grand or something for independent dates?
Wow.
I mean, I'm sure you got more than that for with some places.
But yeah, put him on a card anywhere in Southern California and Arizona and Texas, like Ray will sell out your whatever building you're running in.
But Ray is huge. I mean, Ray's huge. Even the WWE.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, as far as American wrestlers working that style, I mean, Ray's, by far the biggest. So, so Heavy Machinery. Oh, it's good Lord, this tonight. And then just to put like the cherry on top, Lacey Evans walks out.
Can I say Heavy Machinery? I think is I would rather watch Lucha House Party than Heavy Machinery. How about that?
It does. Tucker Knight looks like he could cut my grass.
Yes.
Just kidding. I'm kidding. Tucker, if you're listening, I'm just joking.
Or change oil, or you know what I mean? We're just saying that it's a common. They don't look like stars.
Like stars. I get your point. Yeah. After this segment, if I wasn't doing this podcast, I would have shut this off.
Of course you would.
It's like, this just sucked. And Lacey Evans walking out. It's just so unnatural, so unorganic. So it's just so uncool. Like it comes across as, what the hell is this?
It does. It does.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I like this though. Backstage, Gable and Rude approaching Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and then being interrupted by the Revival. I thought, this was a solid segment as far as backstage confrontations go. It was friendly, but set up the competition we were about to see between the Revival and Gargano and Ciampa. Now, were they wrestling as DIY tonight or just as two singles?
Yeah, I don't think they ever called them DIY, right?
Except when they did their finishing tandem move together. I'm pretty sure that was it at the very beginning of the match.
I thought the fans were chanting, a few fans were chanting DIY, but I think the announcers were just saying that they have history in NXT.
This is another one that I'm really kind of fired up at the fans about.
Yeah.
Like, I thought at least Ciampa sound like, I don't know. I just thought they'd get cheered louder than this.
Yeah. I mean, look, they don't know who these guys are.
Like,
I think. Yeah, I mean, people assume that everyone that watches WWE watches NXT. That's a small portion of the audience that watches it.
Yeah, I guess so. That was proven tonight. It really was.
Yeah. So people are saying Michael Cole mentioned DIY, so that they used to be called DIYs. And by the way, that backstage segment, you like that with the
because I like when they talk about history. I like when they acknowledge that the stuff that happened in NXT. It says at least someone's paying attention to the fact that they've told stories.
Tell me what they said real quick. I apparently missed that.
Well, no, Rude and Gable were like, "Oh, hey, welcome here." They made some sort of disparaging but friendly-ish remark. Right. The Rival came out. They said, "Oh yeah, we had some great matches, back in NXT." It was just them sitting around, Dick. We'll just call it pissing contest. But it was fun. I like that they acknowledged each other, acknowledged the history of NXT. I mean, these were all former NXT guys having a segment backstage, welcoming up the NXT North American champ and the NXT champion.
I guess I don't like the friendly stuff before you're about to have a match. I felt like they should have been in each other's faces, and you could tease something with Rude and Gable down the road.
What does that tell you? That they're putting the brand first.
Yeah.
Selling the brand.
Hey, let's go have some fun. Let's have a fun match.
They were told to sell the brand more than their match.
Yeah.
Again, it goes to a point that it could be something they're developing into its own show. Its own.
But the Revival, like, if they were like, hey, you guys aren't coming here from NXT and beating the champions. We've worked hard to get this, and we're going to show why we're the best. Like, that would have been, I feel like that's way more effective. That feels more realistic. I hate that WWE, the fact that they do matches, but they don't treat it like competition or like the competition's performance as opposed to winning or losing. Mm-hmm. It just hurts it. It's like, of course it does. What's the point?
Yes. But, speaking of dick measuring contests, if you're entering one, check out the sponsor of this episode, our second sponsor, Blue Chew. It's like a performance-enhancing drug for dick measuring contests.
You know who could have used some Blue Chew tonight?
Vince McMahon?
This crowd.
That is Oh, man. Guys, you remember the days when you're always good to go? Back when Color Me Bad had a hit song called I Want to Sex You Up, and your libido's theme was to the TikTok, You Don't Stop? Well, those days are over. You're old now. You're in your 40s.
Pretty sure I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but continue.
Yes. You're old. It doesn't work as well as it used to. Basically, you're not the Iron Man anymore. No 2 out of 3 falls. Every contest is for 1 fall. And it's a squash match, let's be honest. But now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence back in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. That's blue like the color blue. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. This is the science stuff, the made-in-a-lab stuff. This is the magic pills that are prescribed that make things work. And you can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they are chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever that opportunity arises. No more scheduling intimacy and saying, oh, I'm going to take this now. 3 hours from now, we're going to go. No, you lower the lights. You put on the Color Me Bad music. You pop a Blue Chew, start, kissing, getting down to it, and then bam, it's go time. Now, this isn't just for guys with dysfunction. It's for any guy who wants extra function to enhance their performance in the bedroom. As Matt Morgan said last night, Blue Chew will take you from a 1-round guy to round 2 to round 3, maybe even round 4 and 5 if you don't have to work the next day. plan ahead for that.
And one other quick thing of note, and everybody's body's different. Everybody metabolizes things slightly different. But I would argue the point that this is the fastest one. I've done Cialis. I've done others in the past. Nothing has hit my bloodstream faster than this. For me, 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Before this kicked in.
Yeah, I got to say, it's I've talked about this before. I was on medication for years. I had problems. I was taking Viagra and Cialis, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Hated that I would have to guess, like, is this going to happen in a couple hours? Who knows? And if it didn't, couldn't sleep on my stomach that night.
Glenn, I do got to correct you on one thing, though.
What's that?
It's not just for people whose equipment doesn't work like it used to. It's also if you're just ready to take it to the next level. If you have a great date night coming up or something like that, and you just want to go that extra mile, it just enhances your performance regardless.
No, absolutely. And that's really the key, is that there are times when you want that special occasion. You want a bit of an exhibition in the bedroom, as it were. You want to show what you're capable of. Get all your moves in, get all your positions in, use all your tricks.
You will definitely get all your high spots in. I will give it that. Yes.
Yes, all the flippy shit. Blue Chew will make that happen.
Yes.
Blue Chew is prescribed online, shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor's visit, no waiting in the pharmacy, and best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made in the USA, and Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, so they are cheaper than a pharmacy, cheaper than your health plan. And right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com. Get your first shipment free when you use our special promo code WINC. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BLUE. Chew.com, promo code WINC to try it free. And here's the great thing. They're not going to just send you one pill. They're going to send you, I think it's like 4 or 5 pills in the sample package. So you're going to have a good week or two with this free sample. Highly recommend it. BlueChew.com, promo code WINC to try it free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice. And we thank them for sponsoring the Wrestling Inc. podcast. The Revival versus DIY. Mm-hmm. This was in the past an NXT TakeOver match, and the crowd tonight did not care.
No, and they were annoying me.
And they didn't really get into it later, like that when the Revival won the tag titles. The crowd got into it as the match went. That wasn't really the case here. It was just the crowd was kind of flat.
Different play, different location. Well, we can't always
right.
No.
Yeah, no. The crowd's part of it. Another part of it, again, they don't know who these guys are.
Yeah.
And they're the champs. These were 2 guys that came out, each holding a belt.
Yeah, but Joe Blow and Jim Snow can come out with 2 belts. You don't know who they are.
It does, and I hate this because I hate the fact they don't know who the NXT guys were. That does bother me because I've assumed everybody, like what Raj was talking about earlier, saying that not everybody watches NXT. I thought they kind of did. This proves they kind of don't. But what I thought would happen eventually was good wrestling would be appreciated. Good wrestling, good storytelling would be cheered. And it wasn't. And that's what is bothering me.
Yeah.
Because that was great wrestling. Say what you want. I'm not a fan of either of those 2 guys. I'm not. Everybody else is. I like Ciampa, actually. But that was a fantastic tag match. The psychology, everything in it was spot on. If that was an NXT pay-per-view, guys, we would be raving about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if this took place at Full Sail, this would have been on fire. Yeah. Yeah, but you got to remember, there's maybe 1 million U.S. subscribers. Out of that, a fraction of the people that have the network watch NXT. So you're talking maybe 300,000 a week.
So then help me understand when Samoa Joe got called up. Then is that his TNA heat? Then
I think so. Yeah, I think that there's a big difference when AJ or Samoa Joe or someone like that, someone with New Japan. Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't argue New Japan either. I would argue if somebody from New Japan showed up without any notice and no headlines.
Yeah. I was going to say Gallus and Anderson, but it was kind of a 1-week pop when they came in.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but no, I think the Impact effect. I mean, Matt, if you came back now, remember Impact, you were watched by a substantial audience on Impact for years. You get
over 1 million then on a weekly basis.
It will still be crickets, but thanks, guys.
That's why you were in the WWE, so I mean, you have people that would remember who you are. It's I think Impact has that, whereas NXT not being on a network, that does limit its audience.
Yeah,
and that was proven tonight. I hate saying that because I think everybody watches it, but they don't.
Yeah, and Ciampa and Gargano won. They beat the new champs.
Yeah.
Yes. that was a big risk. They
NXT,
just wait,
again,
don't you think
NXT guy. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
don't you think they crap on the tag division with this? I'm glad they won, but think about it. 2 people that nobody knew just beat your tag champs. Now what?
Yeah. And now nothing. I mean, how many times do people beat the tag champs anyway? It happens
Apparently
all
all the time.
Yeah, right. Remember Braun destroyed like the whole tag division a couple of times.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good match. I mean, if you're looking just for performance, it was a good match.
Yeah. And then after that, Kevin Owens was at the movies.
I was thinking about you guys the whole time.
Yeah, I was saying, so that first promo they were showing, he was unathletic, right? Where he couldn't bowl, he threw the gutter ball.
Right.
The second one, he had the pizza, so he was unhealthy. And this one, it was him being cheap. Right? He wanted his change back and was pissed at a kid for not bringing his change back.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I do not know.
Could you imagine if the original script for Creed 2, I'll keep bringing this up, they're like, hey, we're making Creed 2. We want to make him unathletic, cheap, and and unhealthy. That's the character we have in mind for this.
You know what they're doing? They're doing this is who he really is. So this is what we need to give people. No, you don't. You crank it up is what you do. You want to talk about being a family man? They did it the right way at NXT during his debut, right? They talked about what it would mean to him, why he's a prize fighter, why he fights for his family, to put food on the table. That makes sense. I root for that guy, or I'm going to boom one or the other. But it makes me feel something. It makes me think he's a fighter, a legit prize fighter.
Yeah.
Bring it back to, all the stuff they had in the documentary on his DVD. He had to watch all his friends, all these guys he sweated it out with the Indies with, get signed. He finally came up. He had the title for that brief period of time. And then from there, it all went wrong.
Yeah. I've had some people tweet saying that they think that the whole thing is they're making him look like, fat loser, for lack of a better term. And then they'll cut to when he comes out and then he's in great shape.
Way too much faith in the writing team. And
I know.
Yeah. I wish you guys, for you guys that did write that, thank you. Because I wish they did.
Right.
I wish your guys are correct.
And he does look in good, in much better shape.
He's not going to have abs or anything like that, but he looks way better. He looks amazing. He busted his tail. I saw him in person, you guys. He looked great.
Yeah. But how much can you tell when you're wearing the shirt and shorts, right?
In the arms, he had vascularity in his forearms. Now, he's never had that
Really?
before.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, when I shook his hand, he had veins up and down his forearm. And he was doing cardio that morning at the NXT Center when I went in there. And he looked amazing. Couldn't see his stomach either. Usually, his stomach would push out past his chest. As you can tell, that's my judge of somebody's fat or not. That's terrible of me. But if somebody's stomach protrudes past their chest through the T-shirt, it's usually a dead giveaway that somebody's carrying a little bit of extra weight. Kevin was one of those guys. I'm telling you right now, not anymore.
Yeah. After this, Bayley and Sasha came out to the ring, said a couple nice words about the women's tag division, how they're going to keep defending their titles. Then they were confronted by Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka. This didn't really connect. I mean, they had the minor skirmish and then the retreat. Like, it was very weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, very strange.
I thought it was strange that the girl with the baby face is talking in the beginning. Did you? Like, okay, first of all, Sasha's got to have a talk with Cole and say, listen, I'm done. No more boss time. You're killing me. You're the only person that could possibly make me uncool, and you didn't. I had Snoop walk me out of my WrestleMania entrance, and you screwed me from that moment on with your stupid boss time. Get rid of it, guy. That needs the first step she needs to do. Next, I was going to say, you guys, out of every girl on that roster, her smile seems the most authentic. She legit seems like she's happy or excited or whatnot. She doesn't seem like she's full of it. Do you know what I mean? When we smile as wrestlers, we're full of it generally. We're told to smile, right? And we're acting as a baby face. She legit seems happy.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like, I buy into her.
Sasha, you're saying, right?
Sasha Banks.
Because Bailey, you could say the same way.
Yes.
She
In
also
a different way for sure.
But then again, I almost feel like if your gimmick is the boss, should that be your gimmick? Like you're happy to be there?
No, it's got to be. You got to. I hate to say it,
right?
The Queen Bee, right?
Right, Queen Ric Flair.
Yes.
You know, you're styling, profiling.
Yes.
Nothing's good enough for you. I mean, that's what I think when I think of that character. And she's,
Me too.
I mean, they're crying every day now. I mean, I really liked it after Elimination Chamber. You know, that was what's that?
That's who she really is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you could tell it's genuine, but
that's not that persona that we bought into at NXT and their first call up coming out in a Humvee.
Right.
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah. But, you know, it is. You know, it is a historic thing. They are the first women's tag team champions. But hope you know. Let's stop getting so emotional about it after this.
I even like they acknowledge their past. I don't think Bailey has said on the main roster, we used to hate each other and then we became best friends.
Really?
Like, I don't think I've heard her, because I was so weird. First time in a long time, if not the first time.
Huh.
Yeah, because didn't it not make sense? The first time Sasha brought Bailey as her like special tag partner, remember, was still when Bailey was in NXT. She was the surprise for Sasha. I don't even remember who Sasha was facing. Yeah. And I remember thinking this makes no sense that Sasha's bringing out and acting like her best friend is the woman that she had this feud with. You know, they never really explained it.
I didn't know that. I thought her first thing was something with Mick Foley in that promo she should not have needed to do in her debut. You guys remember that? She had to do some in-ring promo with Mick Foley that was her like debut. I could have sworn.
There have been so many missteps with Bailey, so many bad segments. As far as I'm concerned, there was that surprise appearance. She won the championship, and then nothing else happened until last night at Elimination Chamber.
Pretty much.
It's a shame. You talk about organic, especially Bailey.
Yeah, I think they have such easy characters that you could really take to the next level. Sasha, like we said, Queen Ric Flair, just styling, profiling, but a modern version of that, like a female Conor McGregor. Does not care. She's too good for everything. Bailey is that, very down to earth, loves kids, that
Bailey.
Character.
You can't explain it other than just she's Bailey.
Yeah.
You know what you see from her entrance to her smiling to her hugging him to everything she does, man. It's organic as hell.
The secret dark side. That's what I want to see when that comes out and they turn her heel.
Oh, that's going to be cool and different.
It'll be different.
Could have some cool legs to it.
But I hope Sasha's the one that turns if that eventually happens.
Yeah. Dean Ambrose and Drew McIntyre.
Funny setup for it, right? Backstage.
Yeah. Dean walking out like he does not care.
Mm-hmm.
And it was what it was. Drew beat him pretty easily.
Which he should. He's on the way out.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Just in case you thought that WWE convinced him to stay, here's your proof.
But okay, here's the thing. He's still in backstage segments, though. He got, 2 or 3 of them?
Yeah, he got the one after the match. Seth Rollins was talking to Charlie backstage about Brock.
Now, when I was being re-signed, I don't recall me getting that luxury. I recall Mexico was whipping my ass with rakes and stuff.
They kept you on TV after match. Really? They kept you on TV after they told you were getting cut?
I did. That night I had a match versus Mexico. A match versus Regal. Mexico's were just switching over to SmackDown and jumped me and Regal.
Wow.
Yeah. See you, Morgan.
Yeah. No, Dean got a lot of time. That segment after was weird. Yeah.
I wonder if they feel like he's less effective as a babyface, so they turned him babyface and to beat him, to put over all the heels on the way out, I guess. I don't know.
I like it for what it's worth. The stuff with Seth at the end was funny as hell.
Dude, I think Dean is entertaining as hell. I think he's more entertaining now than he's been in a long time.
Yes.
Yeah. And now he did seem kind of crazy, like acting like he's been buddies with Seth the whole time.
That was good.
I mean, that's a lunatic, not getting,
not just calling
ass injections for whatever city he's in.
Or just calling him a lunatic friend for the sake of it.
Right.
There's reason behind it there.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Elias came out with his guitar, did his usual shtick, dissing the city, and then was interrupted by Aleister Black, leading to Aleister's first match on Monday Night Raw.
Was excited as hell. He's another one loved on NXT.
Yeah, bad slot though. I mean, this should have been earlier in the show.
Yeah, it felt very late.
The crowd was dead. I mean, the crowd was dead for the whole show, but really dead for this. Aleister Black, I think of most of the NXT guys right now, is one I could see doing well on the main roster. He's got a cool look.
Yeah. Okay, I hope so.
The only thing is that he's a little on the smaller side, and we know how that can limit you. Yeah,
how tall is he? Anybody know in the chat room how tall is Aleister Black? Please. He's not 6 feet.
He's 6 feet, 215 pounds.
Oh, he's taller than Ricochet.
He's taller than Ricochet. But we've seen how the smaller guys. It's more of a struggle for him.
I'll be honest. I didn't know he was considered one of the smaller guys. I really didn't.
And that's because in NXT he's always facing guys. He's like Gargano and
yeah.
The way they shot that intro, though, I was having flashbacks to the Brood.
Brood.
Sorry, I always say Brood. I always say the Brood.
What was that?
I used to do that in comics too. There's a comic book character, the Brood, and I always used to say the Brood. I don't know why I've always done that. It's something. What's like wood is double O, blood is double O. You don't say.
Glenn,
Brood.
did you just start watching wrestling last year?
No. The Brood.
You've just been reading about him.
But no, it reminded me of that. Like, I think they've got to be really careful with how they present this on the main roster to keep it looking cool.
Yeah, no, he's got a cool look. Yeah, I could see him. I could see him being something.
Entrances are so important. I wish they would go back to paying attention to guys and girls' entrances. Like we just talked about it earlier. Bailey, her entrance is still dope. Say what you want. It's still different. It separates her immediately.
Yeah. If you're presented like something special, people automatically assume that you are. If you're presented as like a kind of tongue-in-cheek, kind of funny, goofy thing, like the Vaudevillains were, No Way Jose, that's what audiences are going to perceive you as. But if you're perceived like a big deal, that entrance helps a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black, which of those guys loses their last name?
Oh, no. Tommaso loses his first name.
Yeah. Tommaso, just Ciampa.
Yes.
Johnny Gargano, you think they keep both?
Because so they call him Johnny Wrestling, yes.
I could see them changing Aleister Black to just Aleister. I think Aleister Black sounds cooler, but I could see it.
It does sound cooler. I don't know. Definitely, not Gargano. What's his name? Ciampa will be Ciampa. Yeah.
Yep. Then the main event, the women's title match, Ruby Riott versus Ronda Rousey. After Aleister Black got the win, the pin on Elias with the Black Mass. So Ruby versus Ronda. I thought in the last segment they were setting this up for another Becky appearance, but no, this was a straightforward match.
It should not have been the main event.
Yeah, although I have to say this is the match I would have liked to have seen Ruby have last night.
Me as well. A more competitive match. I agree. I just didn't think this should have closed Raw without anything.
Yeah.
Into Mania.
I think when you've already seen Ronda destroy her, do you need to sit through a 15-minute match or a 12-minute match?
Why would this be the main event if that's the case? We just saw it's a rematch.
And and they're doing this thing now, right? Where if you're a champion and you lose your title, you don't get an automatic rematch. But Ruby Riott gets squashed in under 2 minutes, and she gets an automatic rematch the next night.
Yeah, good call.
WWE logic, just take a little effort in your storytelling. Make a reason why Ronda demands that match, not that Ruby's just awarded it after getting squashed.
Yes.
But anyway, I've said it many times. I like Ronda looking strong until it's time not to.
We definitely do. I'm just saying, we just saw this match last night. I don't get why was this the main to close Monday Night Raw with nothing progressing.
Yeah.
Toward Mania, I thought. And one could argue, well, they did. This is Ronda looks strong heading into Mania. Isn't that? Yeah, one can make that argument. But one small thing, guys, I'll pull it aside. She needs to go back to wearing what she rocked last night because that was badass.
Yeah.
Although Matt, I kept staring at Ronda Rousey tonight for the most wrestling dork reason. I was trying to see if the spandex was riding up. Yeah, I was trying to see if she was keeping it down. No, tonight it was fitting better.
All right, good.
Yeah, which is this got to be the dorkiest reason I've ever been staring at what a woman was wearing.
She always, I'm telling you right now, she always does this.
It was better tonight. But I thought,
how often does she wear the kilt?
In the entrance, I feel like every time.
That's what I didn't like. I wanted to see her do that thing again. What do you call it? Mortal Kombat throwback. That was dope.
I like that better. I think the kilt. I think it goes a little too far in the Roddy Piper stuff when she's not related. You know, I know she's a huge fan. She loves him, but
that was cool.
You got the shirt.
It was cool, and how playing off her name, it works. I think look wise, she looked incredible last night. Like who she is. Ronda effing Rousey. She looked the part last night. When she comes out, I don't know what it is with the kill and I don't know. I feel like she's playing like you said, Roddy. She's playing somebody else.
Yeah.
Being herself. And
she did do that dive to the outside, which.
Yeah, dude, she's busting her tail, working her tail off.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this tonight, man, Ruby. Okay, so this I think gave Ruby some cred as one of the more dominant females in the division. I hope they build off this.
Me too.
Or maybe have the Riott Squad use the Freebird rule and have them compete as tag team with two different members each time. But I think Ruby definitely could get booked into a mid-card women's feud from here. I don't know. With Mania season, though, I don't know. Maybe she'll get lost in the shuffle.
And that's what's going to unfortunately happen until after Mania. That's when something like that would happen, Glenn. They have room to do it and the time to do it. Right now, they don't have the time to do it.
Yeah, especially now that you got women's tag titles on the show now, too.
Yeah, and she's not at the level to face Asuka at Mania. I don't think she's the one.
No, Asuka is going to be the multi-person match.
She could have been, I would have argued. She could have been.
Yeah, if she was protected, right? But Asuka, you know what it's going to be. Asuka's going to be on SmackDown saying she wants to find out who her WrestleMania opponent is, and then Naomi's music hits, and then Lana's music hits, and then you all are going to be in the match at WrestleMania.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, that's a way. There's no drama.
I mean, Asuka will win. It'll get all the SmackDown women on the Mania card,
which is cool. But by the same token, she won. Like, shouldn't she be rewarded?
Yeah.
Well, I think that is a reward, though. So Asuka, okay, so get this. Asuka, if she holds on to the SmackDown Women's Championship, defends it at Mania, and defends it by essentially, not SmackDown, maybe just, every other woman without a match, because you're coming out of that with Becky and Charlotte and Ronda being the three toughest women in the company, followed closely by Bayley and Sasha. So, okay, how do you get Asuka up to that main level? Have her just destroy everybody.
You could.
Yeah, she should be brought up to that level, by the way. I agree with that.
I see that being a kickoff show match. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if the women's tag titles, if that's a multi-person match, like that, if that has like 4 teams in it to get more women on the card.
Yeah.
Isn't this crazy just to make Mania longer?
But what else do they have?
Pre-game, maybe.
It's like move it to two days.
I just don't know. I just feel bad for them when it's a pre-show match and we're talking about Asuka. You know what I mean? Some of that should be upper echelon of the female division. I mean, the upper echelon, top 4.
Right. No, I agree.
I mean, she's right after them. Do we agree on that or no?
No, I mean, I've been saying I'd like to see Asuka versus Charlotte and then Becky versus Ronda. You got these 2 strong title matches, and you have a hell of a story in both of them. But
I'll take that. I would totally take that because they killed it. Was it last year Mania?
Yeah. It was short last year Mania, but
I thought that match was awesome.
It was good. They weren't given much time, and for Asuka's streak ending, it was a short match. What's that?
Was it really short? I thought it was at least 10, maybe 12, 15.
I think it was shorter than that. It kind of came out of nowhere, considering that Asuka, that undefeated streak was such a big deal.
Losing. Everybody did not see her losing, is what I would say. Yeah, I don't remember it being short though, honestly.
Yeah, I remember it was a great match.
Yes, I would definitely pay to see it again.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, we've still got.
Why aren't they doing that though? What am I missing, guys?
Yeah, because they want Charlotte in with Ronda because that's going to be the first women's main event.
Jesus.
I think they want like the historic first women's main event. You have both Charlotte and Becky in there as opposed to just Becky once Ronda's gone. But again, storytelling point of view. I'm more into the storytelling, and I think the story is much stronger when it's one-on-one.
And would you not agree if they could have done something really strong, like you said, with Asuka? Who knows where that could have gone?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As far as making us care more about Charlotte, even.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an odd time. So this was one of the more competitive matches that Ronda's had. Ultimately, she got Ruby in the armbar and then afterwards beat up the Riott Squad for kicks as well. And then they went off the air. No surprises, no Becky.
Yeah.
But they did tout the next week, Ric Flair's birthday party on Raw. Becky's got to make an appearance there.
Big Jazz is Ric Flair's birthday, and she's
Charlotte will be there.
Okay.
Yeah. But if she disrespects Rick, that I could see be a turning point for a lot of fans where they won't like that.
No, they will not. No, they will not.
Now, if she comes out congratulating Rick, and then it seems kind of not her character right now.
I don't know what I do with that.
I'd probably leave it alone.
Don't touch it.
Yeah. Well, remember, Rick helped Charlotte defeat Becky many times for the title.
No one remembers that, though. And they never bring up stuff like that from the past in this story, right? Never. I know people are talking about Kevin Owens, Lashley injured him. I guarantee you that they're not going to bring that up. But what's that?
I didn't even know that happened.
I mean, in storyline, remember it was that the match they had on Raw was his last match, and
I'm a huge KO Mark. He's like my top 3 favorite wrestler, and I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if they were going to use it, they'd have to be mentioning it here and there in storyline. But
and that also points out nobody remembers this crap.
Right.
Continuity is what I live for, and that's why I'm always so disappointed.
Yeah, it's cool to get it sometimes. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think by doing a 3-way, it's kind of very similar to when they did that 3-way at WrestleMania.
Benoit, Michaels, and Triple H as well.
What's that? Oh, yeah, for the
Benoit,
segment?
Michaels, and Triple H. It was like kissing, you know what I mean? Kissing your cousin. Like it wasn't, what's the wording for it? It's like Benoit was going to win the title that night. It was this big unveiling, and it really wasn't that because it was a 3-way. It wasn't him in a singles match for the title. Remember?
Right.
Back in time, I remember that.
Yeah. You almost have to remember who Benoit beat. Whereas if it was a one-on-one, it'd probably be more etched in your memory. But what I was going to say is just, was it 3 years ago in Dallas where they did Charlotte versus Sasha versus Becky? So you're doing another 3-way with 2 of those same 3 women, you know?
I love that 3-way though.
It was. I thought that was the best match of the show.
It was.
But it's like kind of repeating that, except with Ronda in there instead of Sasha in a way. I mean, Becky's way hotter now than she was back then. Charlotte is as well, and Ronda is Ronda. But it is kind of a been there, done that for 2/3 of that match.
I'm just stoked this is going to close Mania though.
We don't know yet.
It better.
I think so too. I think it better.
Come on, wake up, WWE. You guys are. I'll give them semi credit. They were on the right. Would we agree? They have been on the forefront, you know, of women's movement in sports, especially right, and just the general world, and giving women a legitimate chance and being treated like guys, right, as far as respect goes and time in the ring goes and things like that. I mean, do we not think so or no?
Well, I mean, I
agree with that. UFC had Ronda headlining pay-per-views for years before.
Very begrudgingly. I remember what Dana used to talk about it before that.
Right, before that. And WWE was the same. I mean, you had bikini matches and stuff, musket matches. But they were legitimate, and they're not just talking about making history every time. They were given legitimate the main event, not like not being treated than the guys. A Ronda build wasn't different than the guys build. So
you don't think these girls are just as good? I do.
I think they're just as good, but I don't think they're booked the same. I don't think Ronda's booked they're not as booked as strong as Roman or Brock.
How do you determine that though? Because I would argue, what's her name? It definitely is.
And Becky is right now. Becky is right now, but she's the first.
No, what about the heel?
Yeah.
Big, come on,
Charlotte,
not Snuka. Nia Jax is booked like a monster.
She's like a main event monster.
Well, and that's why I'm gonna say Ronda, being such a fan of wrestling, I don't think Ronda wants to be booked like Brock. She doesn't want to have those matches. You could see tonight even with Ruby.
I know, but then that makes her just like everyone else, and that's why she doesn't draw anymore on TV. The lowest rated third hour was the one where she was in the main event, and that never happened in UFC.
Okay, this is true, but by the same token, you got to give it up though. She is really good.
No, for sure. I mean, I've never seen anyone take to it as as quickly in that short period of time. But that doesn't mean just because she could that you should. Right, if she really wants to wrestle, do it on the house shows. She's doing live events. But
so somebody in Ronda's entourage, if you're watching this, could you just mention to her you're enjoying this too much?
It's not that. It's from a storytelling perspective. The story should be Becky overcoming the odds to beat this incredible
Mike Tyson. To beat
but that's not why she's doing
someone that Ruby Riott almost beat on TV.
But it gets to why she's doing this. She's not doing this for the money. She can make more money doing movies, No,
she can't. She's lost all her roles. She had nothing going on when she signed with WWE. Now, she did sign because she loved it.
She was the co-host of the revival of...
But she did not turn down a single movie for WWE. She's was pulled from those projects. She was supposed to do like Roadhouse. They canned that. They were going to do a movie on her life. She only had that one Mark Wahlberg movie, and her role cut down drastically in that.
What happened to Roadhouse?
It was shelved.
Well, partially also because why would you remake Roadhouse? There's no.
Was she going to be?
What's making everything?
She was going to be Dalton.
I would have watched that. Sadly, I could make fun of me if you want. I love the first one. I think she could have done that, but whatever. I'll shut up.
But you're telling me how much is she getting a year from the WWE?
I'm guessing probably like, mid 3 to 5 million, probably.
She can make more than that doing personal appearances. She was on ABC's Battle of the Network Stars revival. I'm sure she got paid for that as one of the coaches.
So she's doing it. Everything she can do, she's doing it. She's not turning stuff down. You're not hearing of anyone saying that Ronda turned down this show or anything. Yeah,
but I think with wrestling, though, she's doing it. It's a harder way to make money than some of her other options.
Yes, I agree. She's doing it because she loves it. She's not doing it for the money. She
definitely doing it because she loves it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that she's by having these long matches, just trying to prove it
that she should want to be booked, right? Because of her strengths. Right. Is to be on Mike Tyson, eating glass, and what's the old saying? Eating thunder, shitting lightning, kind of a thing, right? Unbeatable, unblemishable until Mania, and Becky gets to beat that.
Yeah, because she's lost so much of her special stuff. I mean, in UFC, every fight she did was bigger and bigger with pay-per-view WWE, every appearance, the ratings go down.
Seriously, do you guys remember the feeling of the day? I would argue I used to get that feeling as a little kid when Mike Tyson would fight.
Yes.
But when Ronda would fight, that whole day you were stoked. You couldn't wait until nighttime.
Yeah. But what's weird, now the women that beat Ronda, the two women that beat her, how much are they making a year now?
I don't recall watching them.
Like, I don't even remember their names.
I don't remember.
Holly Holm's in a Gatorade Mountain Dew commercial right now.
Holly, I did. When she came back to fight, I did, because I thought maybe this is the new Ronda. I was wrong. But do you know what I'm saying? Like Ronda had that thing about her that I remember with Tyson as a little kid too.
Right.
But I keep going back to that comparison. I don't know.
Yeah.
And, so Amanda Nunes is the champion. She just beat Cyborg. I mean, she's not a big draw, but
we should be talking about her in this type of tone, because she is going to go down in history as the best female of all time.
Yeah.
Seriously. That was one of the best lines of dialogue in Creed 2, Raj, when they were talking about the history of the boxing title and saying most people can't name more than 2 or 3 guys who ever held it. When they were talking about it. Well, there was a line in the movie when the promoters trying to convince Creed to fight Drago was saying that's why you need a legacy. That's why you need to do something like his father did, like Rocky did. That's how you become one of the fighters, the all-time greats that people remember. Just holding the belt isn't enough. That's very ephemeral,
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's kind of the point. So Ronda being the first, I mean, like superstar crossover female MMA fighter, there will never be, it's gonna be a long time until there's another one who captures that same sort of.
And she became that because she had charisma and that unbeatable. Just being unbeatable isn't enough. You got to have charisma, but she had charisma and that. Tyson had charisma and that.
Yeah.
And
that special thing that we can't even describe too. They both had that thing too, whatever the hell it is.
But if Ronda was losing half her fights in the UFC, she wouldn't have become that level of a star.
Never. Yep. So tomorrow night SmackDown, we'll see what goes on there. They're going to announce who Daniel Bryan's facing at Fastlane. This is going to be the test of how much they're listening to the fans.
Why?
I'm wondering if it's going to be Kofi Kingston.
They could steal a pay-per-view with that. Actually, you know what? You want to know something? I would watch. As a fan, not as a host, as a fan, I would argue I would now watch Fastlane because I had no reason to watch it otherwise, as just Matt Morgan, the fan, watching, other than doing the show. right? But as a fan, I would watch it if I found out Kofi was working him in the main.
You know what? You guys might think I'm crazy, but I almost can see Kofi and Daniel Bryan as the Mania match. I mean, who else do they got for Daniel Bryan? You know, and you could tell a hell of a story. Like Kofi is just like, I had my chance, and Daniel Bryan's kind of avoiding him, and just, you know, build that like he has to go through these obstacles to get that title match, and then he finally gets it. And
Did he tap? Did he tap or was he pinned? He was pinned, right? With it.
No, I think he tapped, didn't he?
I forget.
Guys in the chat,
I think he tapped.
Did Kofi cap or was he pinned? But I think he tapped. But he had pinned Bryan the week before.
Yes, that's a good point.
I think Daniel Bryan should
stay hot. Glenn?
Yeah. What's that?
Do you think the fans will stay hot?
Well, I think now's the time to do it. And I think if you're going to have Daniel Bryan defend at Fastlane, I think Kofi is the way honestly, they make that pay-per-view. I would say keep Daniel off Fastlane and then have Kofi be in a contenders match.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
At Fastlane. I don't think they have that patience.
Oh, everyone's saying he got pinned.
Oh,
okay. Okay, well, I'd rather be pinned than tapped out for what it's worth.
So, I just don't see a better alternate. AJ, they've done too many times, and he's been beaten a lot. He would be the next guy, I guess, but they've done that like 4 shows now.
And they didn't do it to the full tilt, in my opinion, which I still don't quite understand. How in the hell are you not booking Daniel Bryan on one side of the world and AJ Styles on the other side of the world to meet one day at Mania? Like, how did they not do that?
Well, AJ thinks the world is flat, so it quite doesn't have the same.
No, he does not. What?
You don't remember that in Talking Smack?
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan was giving him a hard time, and AJ was like, I'm not saying I think the earth is flat. I'm just saying there are some valid questions that need to be asked.
Yikes. Oh, AJ, come on.
He wasn't happy with Daniel Bryan bringing that up.
I cannot defend that age. I can't co-sign on it. But like one would think, though, you're thinking of money matches on SmackDown. How was that not immediately? Did they not have the discipline when they started veering off in that direction of Daniel Bryan getting healthy and they're going to put him in a match out of nowhere versus AJ? Remember that? When Daniel Bryan was being treated as a mid-carder. You guys remember this?
Yeah.
We're like, what the hell? Daniel Bryan's back. Why are they putting him in these meaningless matches in angles that nobody gives a crap about, right? And then, boom, he's in a match all of a sudden with who? AJ. Do you guys remember?
Yeah.
And then why would they not have the discipline to not do any of that? Okay. And then do your stuff like, you know what I'm saying? Like, find a different way to get here, but have AJ chase the title so they have him at Mania for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have the discipline for that.
Idiots.
Especially because Vince doesn't see that as that, you could tell he doesn't see that as a big dream WrestleMania match.
How?
Well, look, until Elimination Chamber, that was the first time a WWE Championship match has headlined one of those co-branded pay-per-views. So AJ, the whole time AJ was champ and it was a co-branded pay-per-view, he never headlined.
I agree.
So anyway, that's how I do it. I think Kofi has got some real momentum right now. That's what
I'd be down for that. That would be cool, but I still think AJ needs to change the title, but that's just
yeah.
We'll see tomorrow night. SmackDown
Could do a 3-way.
Live. Yeah, tune in. Matt and Raj will be here tomorrow night. I will not be, but I'll be back next Monday. Matt, anything you want to plug before we take this home?
No, great show. Thanks for everybody that watches and listens and chimes in when we ask these questions, when we forget things. You guys are the best. Thank you for everyone who comes over on Twitter as well and asks me more questions after the show. Thanks for the continued fan support on here, guys. Thank you all.
Absolutely. Raj, what's coming up on the site?
Absolutely. Just the interviews I mentioned yesterday. You got stuff from Rob Van Dam, Billy Gunn, 2019 Hall of Fame inductee. Just tons of stuff. So just stay tuned.
Awesome. I'm Glenn Rubenstein. You can find me on Twitter at Glenn Rubenstein. And if you like the podcast, go to iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a rating and review. 5 stars helps new people discover this podcast, and we appreciate it greatly. So until next time, we will catch you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.